Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about microwaves and if you can actually use them in an off-grid situation. Okay, so not too long ago I got a comment of someone asking me if they could power their microwave and what they would need to use in order to do that. Alright. What I have here are two microwaves. You can tell that the one on the top is a little bit smaller than the one on the bottom. The one on the bottom, I know for a fact is a 1100 watt microwave, just because it says it right down here in the door. The one on the top, I can't find anywhere where it says the actual wattage of the microwave, but the model number is, it's a Magic Chef, and the model number is MCB 770W. So the end of that says 770W, so I'm thinking it's 770 watts. And if this one is 770 watts and this one is 1100 watts, I would assume that in an off-grid situation, I would want to get something that could power 770 watts and 1100 watts. So I went ahead and grabbed one 100 amp 12 volt lithium iron phosphate battery and a 1500 watt inverter. And I would just figure that, it would power that. So how about we go ahead and test these microwaves and see what they actually draw in wattage. Okay, so the first microwave we're gonna try is the Magic Chef MCB 770W. So I'm still guessing that this is a 770 watt microwave. So what I have is I have it plugged in to this meter right here. And what I'm going to want to see is I'm going to want to see the wattage draw while it's running. And I also want to see if microwaves actually, if they do like a surge, like if they surge up before they start, or if they do a big power surge before, at the very initial start of the microwave. So what I have, it's very simple. I just have a bowl with a little bit of water in it, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press it for 1 minute, and then we're going to come over here and we're going to look at the wattage of the microwave, and then we'll select over to what the high point of the wattage was. And so that way we can see if there was a surge, and we can see the running wattage of this 770 watt microwave. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it. We'll just do it for 1 minute. Start. Okay, microwave is started. And, okay, you can see that this microwave is actually pulling 15 watts. And if we go to the high point of this, here's the low, which is 1.6. The high was 1116. What this is telling me is that this 770 watt microwave is actually using over 1100 watts of power. Now that is something you really need to consider when you are trying to power a microwave off-grid. You need to make sure and have something that is 40% higher than what the microwave says its power level is. Now, and I also thought, I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't a 770 watt microwave. Maybe it's 1000 watt or 1100 watt microwave, and it's just smaller. So I know for a fact that this one is an 1100 watt microwave. So let's go ahead and put this bowl of water down here and power this microwave and see what the wattage is. All right, I've got my bowl of water back in there. And actually, let's pour a little bit more in there to kind of cool it off. Clear. All right. And what we need to do is we need to reset this so it uses the new values. And you do that just by clicking on this little reset thing. And there we go. All right. So we are set for the microwave. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it for 1 minute. And you can see there, the wattage of this microwave is actually 1650 watts. I mean, it's still going up, 1660. And let's see if there is any kind of initial surge on it. 1666. So there is no surge on a microwave, but they run a lot higher than what they say they will cook at. Okay, now that you know that about microwaves, could you actually power either one of these with a single 100 amp 12 volt battery and a 1500 watt inverter? Yes, you can. And I'm going to go ahead and prove that right now. I am going to go ahead and run this 770 watt microwave. Even though it draws over 1100 watts, I'm going to go and hook it up to a 1500 watt inverter and one 100 amp battery, and we'll go ahead and run it for a minute to make sure that it works. And we'll show the measurements of the amperage and the wattage while it's running, so you can see how much power is actually being pulled from the battery. And what we'll do is we're going to use an SoK battery, and that does have a smart BMS, so we'll be able to use the app to see how much power is actually being drawn directly from the battery. And we will have that monitor to show how much is being pulled from the AC side as well. So you're going to be able to see that your battery is actually going to pull even more wattage because of the losses of conversion from DC to AC in the inverter that you're using. But let's go ahead and hook up our battery and our inverter and get it started. All right, and here is everything that I'm going to be using to power this 770 watt microwave. Here is my 100 amp 12 volt lithium iron phosphate battery from SoK. And it has a smart BMS, so we'll be able to monitor it from a phone to show the wattage coming out of the battery. We have a 1500 watt inverter from Alpha. And we have 2 gauge pure copper cable with the positive having a 150 amp fuse. Now, 2 gauge cable, I believe, is perfect for a 1500 watt inverter because 2 gauge cable can handle up to 1600 watts if we're talking about 12 volts. And because I got that by multiplying 125 amps times 12.8 volts, which is the nominal voltage of a 12 volt battery. So 2 gauge cable is perfect for a 1500 watt inverter. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we'll just go ahead and connect the positives. Positive of the battery. Let's go ahead and connect that up. Use a screwdriver to tighten it down, because you don't want this cable moving, because if it moves a little bit, it might arc, and you don't want that at all. So make it sure it's nice and snug. And then we're just going to go ahead and connect this to the positive side of the inverter. And this inverter actually has a washer and a lock washer. You always want to make sure that you connect this directly to the terminal, and then you use your washer and then your lock washer. That's the best way to make sure you have a very snug fit. There we go. And you want to tighten that nice and tight so again it doesn't move. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and take our negative and we'll connect it to the back of the inverter. And again, there's a washer and a lock washer right here. Okay, take those off. Put our cable on there. Put our washer and our lock washer. And then put our bolt back on, or our nut. All right. And then the last step is connecting the negative to the battery. So let's go ahead and unscrew this. And I always say, if you're working with an inverter that's over 1,000 watts, I always use a resistor. I'll have these linked in the description below, along with the battery and the inverter. But you want to use this so you don't get a spark when you connect your inverter to your battery. Also, always make sure that your inverter is turned off. But if you use a resistor, what it does is it charges up the capacitors in the inverter slowly. And then you can go ahead and pull it away and connect it to the battery, and there's absolutely no spark. So let's go ahead and do that. All you do is connect one side of the resistor to the battery, and then the other, just touch it to your cable, and then nice and charged. Now you can go ahead and bolt it on. See, and what you saw, absolutely no spark. All right, we'll tighten it up because right now it's kind of loose. Tighten it down. There we go. Okay, and that is it. That's your off-grid 100 amp battery and your 1500 watt inverter. It's ready to go. You turn it on and it's ready. I've got my SoK app right here on my phone, so I'll go ahead and put it on the screen so you can see it. Okay, you can see on the app that the voltage of the battery is 13.31 and our currently is 0. So what we're going to be doing is once we start microwaving, we're going to take those two numbers and we're going to multiply them together to get the wattage coming out of the battery. So what we're going to do now, got this little 3-foot extension cable. We'll go ahead and plug it in right here. So that way we can monitor it nice and easy. And go ahead and plug this in. Let's go ahead and reset it again so we have our values. All right, we're going to go ahead and plug in the microwave. Let's go ahead and get our bowl of water out of here. Put it in the top one. Okay, let's double check to make sure everything is connected okay. So we have our battery with a fuse, cabling good, plugged into our 1500 watt inverter. We already tested that this microwave will pull about 1115 watts. So a 1500 watt inverter should do it. But we're going to go ahead and microwave our water for 1 minute, and we will test what we're using from the battery, and we will also see it from the AC side to make sure that we're pulling our 1100 watts, and we'll get all the calculations from it. So let's go ahead and start this up. 1 minute. Start. All right. The AC side, you can see because we are running off-grid, the voltage is lower. So it's only pulling 900, exactly 1,000 watts. So let's just say 1,000 watts. And from our SoK battery, I see that we're pulling let's just say 94 amps. So over here we got our calculator. We're going to say 94 amps times, and the voltage of the battery is 12.45. So you can see that the battery is actually pulling 1170 watts. And at the highest point, the microwave on the AC side pulled 1000 watts. But it was able to microwave this water. Yeah, you can see the steam actually coming out of there. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I mean, so it did microwave that water for a minute. That alpha inverter is only really rated for 110 volts, so that's probably why it wasn't pulling as much wattage from the AC side as it was when I had it plugged into the wall in our initial tests. But you also did see that the wattage on the DC side was what, 170 watts more. So if you have a off-grid inverter and it pulls a true 120 volts, you can expect your battery to pull, you know, probably, I don't know, 1300 watts out of it, something like that. And these 12 volt 100 amp batteries are really, usually they're rated for a discharge rate of 100 amps, and 100 amps is 1280 watts. So with a 770 watt microwave, you could possibly be pulling the maximum amperage of your 12 volt battery. So that's something that you just need to keep in mind. Okay, and with all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about how I performed these tests or how I got the numbers that I did, please leave them in the comments. Again, if you want to look any further into the items that I used, they will be listed in the description. Thank you so much again for watching this video, and you all have a great night. Bye-bye.